So today we're going to find out how a 17-year-old managed to carry his team to the grand finals because Les here on the Viper for the side of Loud, as you can see, with 33 and 13 on Viper. And you can see that none of the rest of his team really did anything too impressive. And he really was the difference, especially in a 13-11 game. Les pretty much single-handedly won Loud this game. And so we're going to find out how he managed to do that. And let's start with round number 4. And in this round, and I should quickly mention that OpTic start this game very, very badly. It starts out as a 6-1 game, and it felt like it. It looked like Loud might just run away with it. But then OpTic come back. You know, it's not all as bad as we're about to see in these first couple rounds, which is pretty bad. But yeah, let's take a look at what's happening. So we've got Loud here. They're coming towards this B side, as you can see, and you can tell that OpTic, they've got 3 players here already. They have a pretty good inkling that that is going to be the case as well. So let's run this round forward. You can see we've got FNS here. He's got a judge in this close angle, so he's ready to punish anyone coming around here. And let's take a look at what happens. And this round actually starts with a weird decision by Loud. I mean, first Sadak forgets what a one-way is and almost gets punished for it. But then he's able to get a heal. But then he's going to take the ult orb, and this is something I don't really understand because you think about it, he's one off his ult, but so is Les. And this chamber ult, you have a rifle anyway. If you die, you have it for next round anyway. You're not going to use the chamber ult in this round because it's a full rifle round. You have a rifle, why would you need it? And you know, Les, he could use his ult right now. Now would be a great time to use a Viper ult. It would get you onto the site, it would give you a safer plant most likely. You know, really good time to use a Viper ult, but for some reason Sadak takes the ult orb instead in a round that you pretty much know he's not going to use it. So I don't really understand that. But anyway, running it forward, what's going to happen is Sadak and Pankata here, they're just going to try and walk up towards the default plant spot. The problem is this Viper orb comes up from the side of Marved, and he swings with that and sees this. And the thing is, if Pankata, if the goal was to plant the spike here, I'm pretty sure can reach this wall. Like, I'm pretty sure he can get this wall down from like where he's standing right now, but I'm pretty sure he has his gun out, so maybe that wasn't the plan. Maybe they wanted to get deeper in onto the site, but either way, this Viper orb is well timed for the side of OpTic and allows them to do that and get that kill. And obviously he did see Les at the same time as well, and so FNS is going to try and swing around on it, but Les is a bit closer than he would expect. But Marv's able to get the 3rd kill as well. But now Marv is going to make a mistake because he's only on 30 HP. It's a 4v2, and really all he needs to do in this scenario, and the thing is he's still got Victor here watching the mid push, and his other teammates obviously are far away and need to rotate, so all he has to do is just go back here, tuck into this corner and live. But what does he do instead? I'm pretty sure most of you know the answer. He decides, I've got 3 kills, I'm going for the 4th one, and he dies. And at first thought you might think, oh, you know, let them play, but that's a really bad decision. And so Aspas, they actually spawn on the dart, and Victor unfortunately is going to lose that fight. And I'm sure all of a sudden at this point Marv was regretting his decision, but Crashies is able to trade out. Okay, 2v1, they should be fine. There's only 18 seconds left and they have to plant the spike. But again, they're going to make a mistake because Ye, whilst he is a great player and he has great aim, and you know, he often wins these fights, I've seen this happen multiple times now, where he just wants to fight in these 2v1s, and he will often lose them rounds because he isn't patient enough and waiting for his teammate. And that's exactly what's going to happen, because as we watch it, what's going to happen is Les is going to tap the spike. So he just tapped the spike there, you know, make the sound, and then he's going to swing out. Fairly normal thing to do, but Ye can't help himself. He can't help himself. He wants to fight. Now here's the thing. Normally in these 2v1 scenarios, you actually say wait for them to plant the spike. You know, get as close together as you can in the meantime, and actually just don't peek them until they actually plant the spike. Thing is, in this instance, now Les has a Viper's Pit, so it's a bit more risky to just let that happen because you could be punished pretty heavily for it by the Viper's Pit. So it's one of those situations that is like more forgivable. But again, all Ye has to do is just wait a millisecond longer, because you're about to see that Crashies is just too far away to trade this kill when he starts swinging it. And if he just waited just a hair longer, then Crashies would be able to come behind whilst, you know, this fight is going on and be able to trade the kill no problem. But unfortunately, Ye just has to go for it, and he dies. And then you see that Crashies, he's just a couple steps away, right? By the time that Ye is dead, Crashies is here. If he just waited for just a tiny bit longer, Crashies would be here instead, and Les would already be dead. But instead, Les has the awareness of where Crashies is going to be, and he's able to win this round pretty much single-handedly and get Loud that crucial 4th round. And now let's come to round number 6, and the situation is this. There's 54 seconds left. Loud wanted to go to B, but kind of, got shut down a bit, so they've decided to come back to this A site instead, and we're going to see how that's going to go for them. And you can tell, actually, the side of OpTic, they are leaning towards B, so this should be okay. And so what's going to happen is we're going to get this deep drone, and then as soon as they realize that there's a drone coming out, what Marv's going to do is he's going to pop this ult at the back of the site and basically dare them. I dare you to try and come into the site. The thing is, when he popped that ult, I think it must have been Sadak here based off this bullet, but you can tell he actually gets hit by that bullet pretty hard, and he's down to like he almost died, which is pretty incredible. But still, he's gonna dare them. Obviously, they don't know that. He's gonna dare them to come into this Viper's Pit with only 42 seconds left, and say come into this site if you want. What are you gonna do? Because this is normally the side that you want to plant on Icebox, because it's the side of the map that you can see from back towards the attacker's spawn a bit more. And so he's daring them either plant on this left side where you have no control, or go to the other side and you've only got 40 seconds left. But what happens then is they pop the jet ult as well, and very wisely, because they'd also popped the chamber ult, as I said before, then OpTic popped the KO ult as well, which is going to shut down the jet knives and shut down the chamber ult as well. So all of a sudden you've gone from 5 reliable weapons to 3, which isn't great either. And so that's going to make it seem like, oh, well, you have to rotate now. You can't run into both of those ults, especially without guns. So they begin to feign as if they are going to run, and then they just walk back. And I love it. I absolutely love the call here from the side of Loud. And you can tell by these rotations that, OpTic think that they're going to the other side. And then as soon as this KO ult is going to drop here in a couple seconds, as Loud begin to just sneak their way up. So the KO ult just goes, and we're going to see that they pop the Viper Orb here as well, which is kind of almost like, yeah, this is us, we're trying to get here quick, this is our time to go. And you can see that just holds these players for just that extra tick. But by this time, of course, they've already literally walked up into the site. So whilst this is going on, what we're going to get is Sassy had just put a little dart there. That's kind of the cue of like, oh, this was a fake this whole time. We get the KO knife, which is going to confirm it. But our boy Les here, the carrier, as it were, is going to manage to swing around this corner and get the kill on Victor. And whilst that's going on, we can just watch Aspas in this Viper's ult, jumping around and maybe moving a bit too quick for Marv there, and he's able to get that kill as well. But as I said, that bullet that came in before could have been pretty big, because it only meant that a couple knives had to hit Marv there. But anyway, then we get the res. So we're back into a 4v5. Still actually winnable for the side of OpTic here. They can very much win this. As I said, the spike is still planted in this weird location as well, so if they can just get towards the spike, they actually have a pretty good chance. The thing is, as I mentioned before, OpTic were playing terribly at this point, and this is one of the worst retake attempts you will ever see. So let's take a look at it, because Sadak puts the wall up, right? And then what's going to happen here is Victor is just going to run in. He's just going to flash, and he's just going to run in on his own. No one is near him. There's no one there. And so he just dies straight away. Then FNS, you can see here, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to run in. He does manage to get one kill, but then it gets quickly traded. Here's the thing. This whole time, Crashies has had a dart and a Sovereign waiting. They could have used this. They very easily could have used this. And the dart now goes off. So 2 of their players, half of their team just literally ran in before they even Sova darted. That Crashies had pretty much the entire time ready for this retake. Terrible from OpTic. They really were playing pretty badly at this point. And Ye is also, just going to run in and get his head taken off by Sadak there. And then Crashies just has to say, Crashies never wanted a piece of this anyway. He wasn't ready at all. But everyone else just wanted to run in straight away. So yeah, and this is the thing, right? OpTic do love to do these quick retakes, but that one was just absurd. That one was not pretty, to say the least. And now let's come to round number 9. And what we're going to see here is something that I don't really love from FNS. It's like an okay idea. So the Silver Dart comes in there and Victor's going to shoot it. He had the KO knife in here that's going to push them back a bit. And FNS is going to push up here as well. The thing is, they're going to have a Silver Dart that just comes in like way too late. I'm not sure if Crashies... it just comes in way too late. You can see he already has it. Like, if he's going to use it, he probably should be using it around about now. But it's just going to come in too late. And so FNS... He is going to get one, but the problem is this is such like a one and done position, and generally 4v4s favor the attacking side, so I don't really know what he was expecting. Victor did swing out with him. You can see he's got one bullet left here. He did, try and swing out, but the problem is for him was that this Viper was up the whole time, so he couldn't actually see, and now you see that Silver Dart is there. You see what I mean about it being just a bit too late, and then we're going to see that the gods were just smiling upon less. Now at this point, they've had their aggression, they've had their fun. At this point, really, Victor should just fall off. He doesn't, for whatever reason. I don't really know why. And he's going to get punished for it because, well, as I mentioned, everything seemed to be going right for Les, and Les is just able to walk up on the other side and catch Victor completely unawares. And as I mentioned, Victor should never really be in this position. He had a really rough icebox, particularly at the start here. And yeah, he should have just fallen back pretty much. As soon as FNS died, he definitely should have fallen back because he gives up this B site for free, and then we get this Viper spit. Now, I do think I like Sadek's play here because I do think anytime there's like a universal sound, like a Viper ult going off, that is a good time to kind of sneak through into positions. Like it's just an extra thing for like people to be thinking about in that exact moment, and so you can just sneak through, and you can see Sadek does that right there. He hears the footsteps, and he's able to get a kill. Now after he sees crashes here, Sadek's about to make a mistake as well, where he should just sit back. There's literally no reason for him to keep swinging. Ye gets this kill on Aspas. I actually literally don't know how, because Aspas, I'm pretty sure, is in the Viper's pit. So I have no idea how Ye hit that shot, whether it was just a random shot. But at this point, as I mentioned, Sadek just has to just walk away. Just like, you've got a Viper's pit down. Like, there's no reason for him to really be there, especially because Sassy is like, during this whole time, is coming around here as well. So I don't really understand, but eventually they just feel like they have to save because there's not enough time. They have an op that they want to save, and so Sassy, after whiffing initially, is able to get that kill as well. And yeah, basically just another round that, again, Les pretty much won single-handedly for the most part. And now let's come to round number 13, the pistol round. And so Les now are swap sides. They're on the defensive side, and OpTic are on the attack. And the first thing I have to point out, and I don't know if this was just a mistake or a tactical decision, but I don't like it either way, because FNS did not buy anything here. He has a classic with no shields and 800 credits left in the bank. Why he chose to do this, as I said, it could be a mistake, and I know that other IGLs have made this mistake before, where they, they're thinking of a plan, so they, don't buy, they just forget to buy because they're thinking of what they want to do instead. The thing is, this is a pistol round, and in this tournament, there's actually a break at the half, so more than enough time to sort of relay any plan that you want to have, and obviously the pistol round break is a bit longer as well, so weird decision from FNS, or if it was a mistake. But if it was a decision and maybe, they wanted to get Ye an early operator or something like that, and FNS was just saving for that eventuality, then that's a terrible decision because he's playing Sage, and the Sage wall is maybe like the best utility in the entire game on a pistol round. So very, very odd choice from FNS here, and it kind of cost them, I think, as you'll see as we run down this round, and you'll see the advantage of a Sage wall in general on pistol rounds. But it starts off with this B side. And let's start off by talking about the B setup that Loud have here, because we got Sadek. He's actually on the top of yellow here. And our boy Les, he's going to be aggressive here as well. And what I like about this is, unlike that OpTic clip I showed earlier, where, Victor's still trying to be a bit aggressive, even though someone has died, these two are going to aggress together, and then they're going to play passive together. They're going to do whatever the other one is doing at all times. And that's really how you play well in Valorant, right? You stick as a team. And so let's take a look at how this happens. So you can see we've got Sadek up at the top here, and Les is down here, and Les is going to find this neat little angle to start off with, get a shot on crashes, and then eventually Sadek is going to kill him, and he's going to teleport away. And as I mentioned, Les's reaction straight away is to, okay, he's teleported out, I need to now, play safe, play a bit more passive. And so as we begin to run this forward a bit quicker, what's going to happen is, the first thing we're going to get is Ye is going to hit a pretty nasty shot down here. We don't get to see it, but he's going to be able to just hit this pretty nasty shot. And so we end up in a 4v4. And you can see initially they wanted to go to A on the side of OpTic, but now they're a bit unsure because they've got that kill. So they're kind of like, maybe we could go to B. But then they decide, actually, no, let's go to A. And you can see at this time, the Sage Wall has come up from Loud as well. So Sage Wall comes up with not much time left. And so then they decide to go to A. But they don't even know that this Sage Wall is here by, the 30-second mark. So it's not great for the side of OpTic, and they realize we just have to break this Sage wall. And the thing is, you know, you get multiple people breaking it, and now you get the Sage slow. And now there's 18 seconds left, and you don't have time to rotate either. And this is what I mean, where, you know, they have all this utility to deal with. Les is able to catch Ye out in mid. And now the thing is, if FNS had a wall, he could just wall this and plant the spike there. But he didn't buy a wall, so they can't do that. And so they have to just run through with no time left, double Sage slows, shock dart, and they run straight into just getting absolutely obliterated there. Weird decision by OpTic. Maybe it was a mistake. I don't know, but it pretty much cost them this round. And now let's come to round number 18. And this is a bizarre round for a lot of different reasons. But let's start with Sadak, because his decision making is pretty baffling. So what happened is Sadak started on the top of yellow again, and he tried a shot, missed, and so he teleported away, right? And so he doesn't have his rendezvous for another 9 seconds at this point before he can put it back down and teleport away again. So why he's decided to get this aggressive in this position, it's kind of baffling, because he's seen, you know, he's seen multiple of them at this point. Like he knows that they're here. So this is a very weird choice by Sadak, and he's going to miss another shot and then just start getting punished for it. You see, he just sees the Sova's head there, misses that shot, and now again, they know where he is, and he has no way to get out. So they start just, you know, put a dart there, send a flash over, he's blind, he dies for free. There's no trade possible either because he's ahead of the wall. Really don't understand what he was doing. Anyway, in the meantime, Sassy is droned, and he's going to ult, which is going to slow them down. Okay, but we're about to see something baffling from the side of OpTic as well. So if we come to the map quickly, you'll see they're all just grouping up in B, and they're going to eventually make this hit when the Viper utility comes back up. And you can see we've got Aspas on a big flank here as well. Now they're going to send in this Viper Spit, as you can see. And the thing is, they're in a 5v4 at this point, and they have this Viper ult down. This should be a pretty easily winnable round. Some teams, even on the defensive side, would just save at this point. I've seen it happen. So they should win this round. And all they have to do is plant the spike here inside the Viper's ult, and you'll win the round. Pretty much, like, you know, unless something terribly goes wrong. But the advantage really is with you. But for whatever reason, they decide to add chaos into this round for seemingly no reason. I have no idea why OpTic choose to do this when there's this Viper ult down that they have, but they want to go push this, put the Sage wall here and plant the spike here instead. Again, it's not a bad idea to do at any point, but when you have this Viper Spit down, you're just sowing chaos into a round when you have such a big advantage anyway. And that chaos is only going to help Loud, because, you know, Loud are going to win this round, by the way, because they make a weird choice. So anyway, we run this forward. Here you go. They get this KO knife there. They're going to flash through it. They're going to put that wall up, and they're going to plant there. Now, a couple trades happen. They do catch Sassy off guard, right? Whilst that's going on, though, we get Chamber again. Chambers can win you rounds, but they can also lose you rounds as well. In this case, it wasn't necessarily, but the Jet's just going to smoke this off and is going to be on the flank, and they have absolutely no idea. And to be honest, it could have been a lot worse because they have no idea that this Jet is coming. But as we run this forward, what's going to happen is Ye's going to peek and die to Pancata there, playing around. Again, everyone's having to play around this Viper ult. It's very, very weird. And Marv even comes out and tries to play with it because he's realizing that this Viper ult is kind of useless at this point. Like, as I said, it's just a weird decision. Aspas is able to walk around the entire thing and get a free kill. Again, this Viper ult kind of helped no one. To be honest. And then Les is able to get it into a 1v1, okay? And we know at this point that Les has to win this round because it's Les, and you know, the Valorant gods were blessing him. But you can see, look at where the spike is, like, you know, where who is it? Marved? Where Marved is, he actually can't, you know, see the spike because of the Sage wall as well. It's just weird. So what's going to happen is Marved is eventually going to just climb up this rope, but we're about to see in just a second, there, his drop off the rope is like a bit weird and it makes a sound. And so Les initially doesn't realize this, but his teammates start calling it out, you can see, because all of a sudden he just looks up. And as I mentioned, this is Les, so he, of course, is going to be able to win the round. And again, this was just a weird play by OpTic. You know, they added in a bunch of chaos to this round for seemingly no reason. And then, you know, the man who was just on an absolute mission to win this game, again, pretty much won a round for Loud on his own. And now let's come to round 24, the round that won it all. And OpTic here, they are on a tear at this point. It was 12-8. They'd won the last 3 rounds. It very much felt like it was going to go to overtime. It felt like they had all the momentum. And I had a feeling that this might be the case, that in this crucial round, the FNS, the IGL for OpTic, is going to want to run a fake. He loves a good fake, particularly on Icebox, and I talked about some other fakes that they ran that worked really well. But what happened in this round beforehand, there's 53 seconds left at this point, is OpTic had started towards B, didn't really find too much there, so they decided to come back to A for a bit, as you can see, but now they're going to go back towards B and try and sell a fake with the Sova. Now, they'd run a really good fake in a game before with just the KO, and I talked about why that was so effective and it worked so well, is because they did this dart, they had KO ult here, and everyone when a KO ult comes out, or a lot of time, will just run away and give you the sight. And that's why it works as a fake, because no one is there to see what's actually on the site. But this time they try and just do it with the Sova only, and it doesn't work nearly as well, because out comes this dart, and off the back of this dart, what's going to happen is we're going to get a Sova ult. And that's what they're trying to sell this fake with, right? Is this Sova ult with the dart, hey, we're coming to A, right? That's kind of what they're trying to sell as A. The problem is that Sassy, on the side of Loud, put up this dart. And this dart tells them that it's a fake, just on its own. That one bit of utility completely tells them that there isn't anything else behind this. Because if this was going to be an execute onto this A site, you would start to run in with the Sova ult. It's the perfect time to run in whilst there's chaos on the defensive side, whilst they're all trying to have to avoid the Sova ult and the Sova dart. That is when you would be running in and executing onto the site. But the thing is, this dart is able to live for full 3, the full 3 pings that it does, and it doesn't catch anyone. And there would be no reason why you would just be sitting back here whilst your Sova is ulting. That would make no sense. So instantly they know just off the back of one dart that this is a fake, and that's going to make a big difference. You can see Sassy straight away, he's like, oh, the dart didn't ping anyone. It's not on A, guys, don't worry about it. And so what they decide to do instead, as we know, is come to this B site. Now, Marv is going to make a pretty big mistake here. I don't know what, in this situation, 2 people need to live. FNS and Marv, the Viper and the Sage. Because that's going to get you the spike down. Those 2 agents are going to get you the spike plant down. And, so those 2 should be the ones that are kind of playing the safest. But Marv decides that he's going to run in way before the rest of his team is ready and die. And that's a big problem. And it does cause him a big problem. And the thing is, we just saw Les. Les is going to win them this round as well. He doesn't seem like he has the biggest impact, but actually it does, because Les just has this Viper Orb here as well. And you just saw he spit the Viper Molly just before the Sage Wall went down. And that is so crucial, because he's then also going to be the one that shoots the Sage Wall and stops them planting the spike behind the Sage Wall. And the panic starts to set in for the side of OpTic when they can't plant behind the Sage Wall, because their Viper decided to run out and die. And because of that, they then have no protection. And so keep that in mind, that Les here, he puts down that Viper Molly, he stops the spike. You can see that FNS isn't actually planting, he just tapped it and has to walk away. And if we go to the map, you can see there's now a gap in the Sage Wall as well. So he doesn't feel comfortable planting the spike behind it. And so again, they have to very quick on the fly think, we have to just try and take more space. Let's get aggressive with it. And it's not going to go well for them. Victor starts getting shot at from 2 angles. FNS tries to plant the spike, but, it's too late. They end up in this horrible situation. And again, this was a round that Les there, it seems so small, just that Viper Molly shooting the Sage Wall. But it won them the round because it stopped the spike getting planted. Some mistakes again from the side of OpTic, and a nice dart from Sassy, which told them that it was a fake. And Loud go on, and they will play in the grand final. Could be a rematch with OpTic, we will see. But it will be very exciting either way.